Our last story is about a Japanese lawmaker who has made history, but not in a good way. We're talking about a man called Yoshikazu Higashitani, also known as Gashi on YouTube. He's a celebrity gossip YouTuber turned member of parliament, and he's Japan's first lawmaker to be kicked out of parliament without ever entering it. Simply put, the Parliament's Discipline Committee has stripped him of his status. He's been expelled by his colleagues for never coming to work. And we don't exaggerate when we say never. This man was elected to office about 7 months ago, and since then he hasn't attended a single day of Parliament sessions. He's been called a no-show MP. And why was he a no-show? He was scared of being arrested over fraud allegations and defamation claims from celebrities. Last week, he was asked for an in-person apology in the chamber. He was absent for that too. What do you think would happen if you did not show up for work for a week, let alone 7 months? Will you be let off the hook if you suddenly went AWOL, absent without leave? We don't think so. So why are the rules so different for those who govern us? MPs across the world have poor attendance in parliaments. India's case is dismal. According to last year's data, only 25% of Lok Sabha or lower house MPs had more than 90% attendance. 3% MPs had less than 35%. India's Rajya Sabha or upper house has an average attendance of 78%, with only 14% members with full attendance. What about Indian celebrities who enter the parliament? The situation gets worse. They often fail to speak for the common man in real life. Their attendance goes as low as about 20%. They rarely participate in debates and sometimes ask only one question in over 3 years in parliament. In the UK last year, ministers were even accused of trying to cover up their attendance. The poor attendance of parliamentarians has been flagged many times. So why don't they attend the sessions? Sometimes they show up only when they've been allocated time to speak. The parliamentary speaker in Sri Lanka, for instance, bemoaned this last year. Other times, meetings are adjourned without completing its business, usually because of insufficient number of MPs or chaos. Now remember, expulsion is the most severe punishment for a lawmaker. In Japan, it has happened only twice since 1950. And this is the first time it has happened due to continued absence. In Canada, a senator cannot miss 2 consecutive sessions. In India, one can lose their seat after 60 days of continuous absenteeism. But that's the thing, continuous. Government whips find it difficult to get a decent presence of MPs, but it doesn't do much to help the empty seats in parliaments. Like in India last year, there were random checks in parliamentary meetings. The year before that, India held its first ever quantitative analysis of attendance in Rajya Sabha. Last year, Uganda's parliament decided to monitor attendance registers. What else can be done to rein in absenteeism? Maybe a minimum attendance criterion. Maybe incentivizing MPs can also help, especially when important discussions are taking place. Last year, a Malaysian lawmaker raked up a storm. He was criticized for his low attendance. So he said, Parliament attendance is not the same as school. Sure, attendance is mandatory in most institutions like schools and colleges, and this is where one gives their own money and complies with such regulations. But what happens when you earn from the public's money? Do you not owe them full attendance in the Parliament at the very least? Higher participation is essential for the working of parliaments. It acts as a backbone for scrutinizing laws that govern us. Only if the members show up can the government be held accountable and responsible. It's the bare minimum.